If a Swedish person introduces you to their family, it doesn't mean a thing. It just means they're sleeping with you. You feel like there's a competition, and that thing blows my mind. In Sweden, most people don't necessarily get married for love. They get married for convenience. I think that most of these old guys, they are just smarter at their gold digging. As you watch this video, I want you guys to have a very open mind and just understand that we are from very different cultures, and because of that, these differences are unavoidable. And I'm sure if a Swedish person is to come to Kenya, they'll also see all these things that just blows their mind. This is not to put anyone down, but just to tell you, highlight some of the things that shocked me when I moved here and started dating. And another thing, I know some will be like, okay, so if you feel like this about Swedish people, why do you still date white people? Why do you listen? Reparations, okay? And mind your business. Talk too much. Okay guys, so let's get into the video. Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna give you the dating shocks I had when I came to Sweden. Oh my god. You know there's culture shock, but then within culture shock there's dating shock. Here's a culture shock example. In Sweden, thou shalt not sit next to anyone in a public place. In a public bus, no. In a public train, no. Find your own space, do not sit next to me. Like we were socially distancing before social distancing was a cool thing, you know? That's a culture shock. A dating shock is a subsection of the culture shock, where these are the shocks that you go through in dating that is very different from what you're used to, especially if you come from a very different continent like me, Africa. It is so different here, oh my god. And I feel like some of these things that I find to be weird to me might be normal to some of you. Maybe even if you are Kenyan, for instance. Some of the things that I find weird to me might be normal to you depending on how you were raised up. So just have a little bit of grace and think that this is an individual perspective and I'm speaking from myself. And because of that, I'm going to say everything from my own experience and maybe get a little opinion. So before we continue, if you've ever moved abroad or any country you ever visited, comment below some of the culture shocks you experienced. If you ever dated someone from a different culture, different from yours, type down there what you have experienced. Okay, so now let's get started. This CC cream is the business. And honestly, I bought it just because it has SPF 50. That's the only reason I bought it. I don't have no time for any foundation. But my first dating shock, honestly guys, was the hookup culture. So I mean, the hookup culture is so common here that it's just mind-blowing to me. And basically, you know, in Kenya, it's usually the men trying to hook up, like you're meeting women and you're trying to hook up so you can go to your boys club and talk about it. In Sweden, it's the women trying to hook up. Yeah? Yes, you heard me right? Women just be like, what do you have? What do you have to offer me? Like, for real. Like, we better try this and see if it works, otherwise I move forward. Like, literally, nobody gives a shit about hooking up. And most people just end up being together because the hookup was so good and they can't stop hooking up, and then it turns out to be a relationship, which is so shocking because for me, I was thought like, if you stay away from the hookalation until everything is set, until like, you feel like emotionally secure and everything and the relationship is official. But in Sweden, you hook up first, and then if the hookup is good, then you can consider pursuing the relationship. I know. And the fact that it's women who kind of do this is mind-blowing for me. Like, God, power to the girls. It's like, yeah, power to the women, I tell you. Woo! Free me from the hookups. Woo! Free me from it all. They consider living together. Can we stay? What you call can we stay in Sweden, in Kenya, is considered like legal partnership. And I guess probably because the divorce rate is so high anyway, so the government could care less if you're married or not. If you live together under the same address, you're basically treated as a married couple. And there's actually a name for it. It's called sambo. For instance, if you're applying for immigration stuff, in some countries you really have to be married. In Sweden you don't have to, because living together is basically considered being a couple. To each their own in Sweden. Everyone relies on themselves, and that means you want to be as independent as possible, financially, emotionally, and in every way you can possibly imagine. I feel like in Sweden, people are so independent that way that if you're used to a culture that is a little bit like where we depend on each other and rely on each other, it can be frustrating. Another thing that kind of is interesting, at least this is very different compared to the US, and I guess US, it depends on the states, there's no alimony, there's no partner support. If you break up or if you go through a divorce, that's it, to each their own. If you have kids and stuff, even the payment is it's not significant. So maybe if you think you can have kids with someone that they will support you later, just forget it. It's not gonna happen here. I realized that when it comes to dating, at least when you're just getting to know somebody, house dates are never cancelled, okay? People want to see how you live so badly that if you're inviting them to come to your house, they won't cancel it. However, dinner dates, honestly, if you're going for dinner, like you have a dinner date planned with someone, usually like as a first date, don't get prepared until the person tells you I'm like 10 minutes away or something. Or if you're going to get prepared, have a plan B, because dinner dates, most 9 out of 10 will get cancelled. House dates never get cancelled for a particular reason. I don't know why, but it all comes down to hookup culture, because when somebody knows they're coming to your house, they have a high chance of hooking up, so they're most likely not going to cancel. But dinner, sure. People be having stomach aches last minute. Like, honestly, these people have some, like, the stomach ache problems is real. And I didn't realize that until I came to Sweden, how much people's stomach hurt them here when it comes to showing up for dates. Like, oh my god. Being ghosted, get used to it. It's normal. You'll be ghosted, you ghost people. No, don't take it personal. Sometimes I think that probably we suffer from social anxiety here, and that's why someone will just make plans with you, knowing very well they won't see it through, but they still make it. But then when it's time to show up, they can't. All of a sudden the stomach hurts. All of a sudden, I don't know, they have some lame excuse, and I normally just say we are socially anxious people and maybe that's why we cancel it. But then if it was a home date though, if it is a house date though, another thing I realize is men are gold diggers in Sweden more than ever. And yeah, I said it. I feel like most guys, let's say the older men, they're probably looking for retirement plan. So you see like a young black girl, she just came here, she's ambitious, she wants to do this, you know. So you entice her a little bit, be like, okay, I provide for you. That time you have like 2 or 3 more working years of your life. But you've calculated that this girl who's come here with so much fire will be your rescue plan because you spent your money roasting your ass in Spain. Okay? Burning yourself up in Spain. So now you see this nice young immigrant girl who is so ambitious, who's still so positive with life. You take her and she's your retirement plan. Stay woke, ladies. Stay woke. These men are looking for retirement plans, okay? And I usually feel like people are so curious to ask you, what are you doing? What do you do? So that they can somehow put you on a financial pedestal and then they can use you as a financial plan. So if you're so independent, this is what you do. Play your independence a little bit down, just to see if this guy is still interested. Like for instance, you have like an amazing business that is booming or something like that. Tell them you work part-time and you're a student, just to see what they will do. Because some of these guys, they will bombard you. Honestly, they will bombard you with love. If you seem to be so successful or very independent, oh my god, the fake love is too real. Ooh, yikes. But then if you tell someone, oh, I'm a student, they run for their life. Use that information however you want. Ooh, lash is done. Now, meeting Swedish parents does not mean anything. A Swedish person will introduce you to their family or to their parents after hooking up with you for two times or for 2 weeks, okay? And it's such, it really blows my mind, this one, because as a Kenyan, no man will ever see the living room of my family ever again. unless I'm married to this man. I've had this conversation with my boyfriend and I told him, unless you want to stay in a hotel somewhere and being hidden like a bad secret, don't even bother. Don't even bother coming home with me, because that's the truth. Like, I'm not taking any boyfriend home ever again. And I know it's like, yes, I am not doing that. But in Sweden, you'll meet someone's parents after 2 weeks and you'll break up after 3 weeks, and then 2 weeks later he'll bring another one home. That's just how it is, and it's mind-blowing. So if a Swedish person introduces you to their family, it doesn't mean a thing. It just means they're sleeping with you. Telling my friend to tell you one thing she has had dating. Shiro,
yeah,
tell us one dating shock that you've had in Sweden. Yeah.
If it's a weekday date, they come to you on purpose of they're going on a business trip.
Yes, guys, you heard that. There's no business trip that happens out of nowhere, but in Sweden, they just happen.
They try to push you financially because I think they're trying to find another financial supporter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like in Sweden, most people don't necessarily get married for love. They get married for convenience.
No, they don't. That's why you find a lot of the women, they end up getting divorced, or they choose to just be alone because these men, they don't want to man up.
No. It's such a feminine culture. Yes, what Shiro said is, we marry for divorce. People, they don't even marry anymore. They cohabit for convenience. So everyone can keep half of their money to probably be able to afford a trip to Spain or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is so shocking. It's really shocking. So this was a real, like, oh my God, what's happening? So you go on a date with someone, they have invited you to go out with them. Like, you are busy minding your business, they ask you out on a date. And then they ask you on a stupid date like coffee date or something like that. Coffee date. You go on a coffee date, then they end up ordering their own stuff to sit down so you can order your own. Why? What? Why did you call me out here? Why did you call me out here? And it's so funny because I see my Swedish friends who, they prefer this kind of dynamic because they feel like if a guy pays for your bill when you are out on a date, then you somehow owe them something. This may feel like you owe them even when you do everything. Like, you'll be there paying the bills, doing this, but they still feel like you owe them. And I also feel like no one is entitled to your body if it doesn't matter what they gave you. But I mean, in Sweden, women are like, you know what, I'm gonna pay for my things, so nobody says that, so nobody demands SCX from me. But then they still end up hooking up with these people anyway, which I don't know. So what was the point? What was the point of you paying if you did not want to feel like pressure to sleep with someone when you're gonna sleep with them anyway? Something a little controversial. You know, there's this a little bit misconception that older guys, like, they will take care of you, they're nicer, they're generous, whatever. But I personally believe, or I think, that most of these old guys, they are just smarter at their gold digging. So this is how they do it. They invest in you, but knowing that you have longer working years ahead of you. So you find yourself, oh my God, the love of my life, what? He does this, he does that, and takes care of me. And then you come here, you get to the system, you get to school, you do your thing, you start to work, you earn your money, and now you have a husband who retired 10 years ago, and you're still 40 years old. So you're going to spend the rest of your life working and laboring for this man. Oh my God. I don't know what you think about that, but that's a smart man who is investing their money wisely. So use that information however you want. This is something that I experienced. Like, if my man is in the kitchen or has been in the kitchen, I have to be there somehow doing something. But then when I'm in the kitchen, I have no problem them being, I don't know, calling, like, just having a good time sitting on the couch, I don't know, playing video games, watching whatever men like to watch. Like, I don't care. I just want the food to be ready, so I present it to you, my king. Here, have a good time. I'm so happy to see you eat. I like how you chew. If you don't chew loud, you know. But in Sweden, if your man is in the kitchen, you better be somewhere there running around. Whether you're moving up and down, whether you are, I don't know, go walk your turtle, do something. You better be doing, like, you cannot sit down having a good time. And I think it's because they have this equality mindset where there's almost like, you feel like there's a competition. And that thing blows my mind. I cannot put it, like, you have to experience it to know it. But I cannot really put my finger on it. Here's another example. If he cooked, you better be washing the dishes. If you wash the dishes, put the dishes away, okay? But for me, if I cooked, I will cook, I will wash the dishes, I'll keep it away, and I'll keep him peaceful. And I don't know you all, but I find it so different with Swedish people. I find it so different here, and I try to understand, but I don't understand most of this stuff. Do I still love them? Yes. Do I wish some of these things were not like this? Yes. Thank you so much for watching. I just feel like I missed you guys so much. And if you like the video, kindly subscribe. Follow your girl on Instagram. Come on now, come on now, come on now. Follow me on Instagram at Otieno8, and see you in the next one. I'm really looking forward to going outside, to vlogging again. Oh my goodness. And guys, trust me, when I get out there, it's gonna be fire. It's going to be game time, Jess, okay? It's gonna be game time. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this little vlog that I have. I just felt like I missed you so much and I had to come and chat with you. I'll probably chat with you one more time and then I'll be graduating. Oh my god, oh my god. Yeah, and that's a story time. That's a whole story time. How I got there. I know my makeup is so simple. It's just, like I said, CC cream, concealer, mascara. Yes, I put lashes and just 2 shades. That's it. Because, and yes, of course, I sprayed this. So now I'm going to a very quick meeting. After that, I'll probably pull off these lashes and go shake my ass at the gym. Shake your bum bum, shake your bum bum.